Hello, I am Andrea Edwards, and
I'm Anna Flinn. Joanne Booth asked for a whole bunch of names.
yes,
Whatever.
she's a bit of a weirdo. Chin Chin.
Chin Chin.
We will hopefully be speaking without the bollocks. The only rule of these conversations is we have to have had at least one glass of wine before we start. Maybe two.
Or, yes, okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
we'll just stick with that. Anyway, so, you know, so a little bit loose, a little bit
little,
free and easy.
little bit real.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're under 16, you should be in bed by now.
Yeah, absolutely.
If
Yeah.
it's daytime, you should still be in bed by now. Let's skip on to something else.
Yeah. And so, you know, Without the Bollocks is a blog I've been writing for about, nearly 10 years. And the whole goal of Without the Bollocks is to make people laugh, cry, or think.
But we know bullshit.
With no bullshit, but obviously everybody's bullshit meter is different, so some people are obviously going to think it's bullshit. But the one thing I never want to do is make people angry. But the hater's going to hate, right? So you're never going to make everybody happy, but that's the goal. So this is just a chat, and it's something I'm planning to do with people all over the world as I meet them and love them. And the only rule is you have to sit down with me and have at least one glass of wine, and then we do this and have a chat.
I was told it had to be red, by the way.
Oh, absolutely, it has to be red, and it has to be good red, none of this cheap stuff, right? So this is my friend Anna. We've known each other for a couple of years.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're in Singapore. This is my home. This is my bamboo garden. It's really lovely. And Anna's really challenged me because I was telling her about my idea that I've been wanting to do for a long time, to do this. And she said, all right, let's do it. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. So here we are. And Anna, I'd love you to just tell them a little bit about you.
Okay, so my wonderful friend Andrea reckons I have no clarity in life, which is not entirely true because I actually am very clear. I just don't, she told me this is about being courageous, so I'm going to start with that. Is that, I don't know if this happened to you, but I was told when I was a kid that I should be quiet, subservient, respectful to my elders, and never say anything that might upset people, and definitely not have big glasses of red wine like this, because that could upset a few people. So I was a really good girl, and I did all that. And then I met friends like this who pretty much started challenging that assumption and said, well, what if I was really living my dreams? What would I do? And you may have gathered, she's a really quiet, shy, retiring woman, not, and I probably am not either. And so when she started challenging me about clarity, I'm really clear. I like creating things that are huge and wonderful and shock the hell out of people because they're more magical than anyone ever imagined. But that's not politically correct to say. But that's what I love doing. I love doing it as an artist because it's fun to get those ideas out there. I love doing it with organizations when you've got groups of people suddenly going, oh my God, this is us, we can be this. And there's that space that happens, and most of all I also love it when I finally get home to bed at night and go like, oh my God, what absolutely stunning day today. The cool thing is that Andrea's challenge to me about this tool, cheers is an important thing culturally, it means we're going to keep going. It's about like what are our fears, what gets in the way of us kind of like showing up and really being ourselves and helping other people be themselves. So,
But I want to talk about something else before we get to fear.
okay.
No, because the core question I'm going to ask everybody I do this with, as you know, is to talk about fears, because I often find that the things that people fear usually never happen, or they're completely irrelevant. And I've met some amazing people along my journey of life, and it's always consistent. But Anna at the moment is living a life that doesn't make any sense to me at all, right? It doesn't. And she talks about these ideas to me, and sometimes I said, you did that, are you surprised if I said that? Are you surprised?
Well, my life has made sense to pretty much nobody my entire life. So that in itself is not actually a surprise.
All right, good. And sometimes she'll talk about it, and I'll sit there and I'll listen to it, and I'll go, I have no fucking idea what she's talking about. And then I'm like, well, I don't really care, because what I love is Anna's passion for what she wants to do. And it doesn't matter if it makes sense to me, and it doesn't matter if it's crazy to me. I support the belief and the passion that she has for what she does. And I think too many people listen to people's dreams and they squash them because they don't make sense to them. But it shouldn't make sense to you. It only needs to make sense to the person who's chasing it. A message I'd love to get out into the world is, like, as long as people really believe in their dreams and they're really passionate about their dreams, try not to layer those dreams with your ideas and your expectations and because we all do that. It's this human tendency to sort of judge other people's journeys, but you can't, because we don't understand anybody else's journeys. We don't understand what motivates them, why they want to get there, and no matter how much they tell us, it's the thing that's beating in that heart that matters the most. Do you know what I mean?
It's like what I've noticed in my own life is that we each have the thing that's beating in our hearts. And I have this really weird background, and I'm just going to do a little like geeky data thing for a moment. just warning you, because if you really don't want data, just like be entertained by the fact that there's color and there's red wine involved. That I grew up with a bunch of like the most hardest core research scientists ever. Like everyone had a doctorate, PhD, so everyone was called Mister, because it was like so uber scientifically geeky.
They were so smart they weren't even doctors.
Yeah. They were like off the planet. I mean, you can imagine like being like 8 years old and sitting there at the dinner table and this conversation's going on. Like, woo!
That wasn't the conversation at my dinner tables. Yeah.
No, but this is the one I grew up with. But in this weird environment, which everyone would have gone like snotty and crazy, they actually ended up changing the world. The world they were trying to change was a world where people couldn't eat, and that people fought wars on famine. Now, for us, of course, we're like, huh? We've got so much food, who cares? But like 50 years ago, that was not the truth, that people like constantly were fighting for food, and that was a big issue. So a bunch of people got together to try and change that. And if you look at it, it was probably, not that, compared to like trillions of dollars, it was not that many trillions, and it was probably 100,000 people. And they worked it out, and then they collaborated across the world, and they made this difference. And so here we are sitting here drinking like good red wine and eating well. And I grew up in this environment where like crazy shit like that happened. I didn't think it was crazy, that's just what happened. You had a dream and you went for it. It was about actually being able to produce like basic agriculture, being able to like plant in the ground, produce food that meant that the farmers actually could have an economically sustainable lifestyle, producing food that other people would want and buy, and get distributed. Like stuff that seems like so idiotly simple.
It just like exists now, right?
Like today, it's totally normal, but then it was not, and I had no idea what this was like. Except that what I see now is that I have dreams about stuff that might be possible that to everybody else seems crazy, because it's in that same field of we've not seen it. And I'm going, well, you know what? 10,000 of us and $100 million or $1 trillion and 100,000 of us decided it's possible. I saw that. I grew up with this.
Yeah, it's great. So you've actually got the heritage of belief that you can make amazing change, and so let's get on to fear.
Okay,
so what do you fear? What is your greatest fear? If you could tap as deep as you are willing to go. What is the thing that you fear the most? Like really fear?
I'm going to answer that in a moment, but I just want to say
I'm in control, obviously.
She thinks.
Yeah.
She thinks. We're fine. Here's the wine. That's right. That's right. The wine thing. I'm going to get back to this one. But you think about it these days. Airbnb didn't start because someone had a big, it was just like we thought it would be really cool if we could match people up to cool experiences and beds and meet real people. Facebook, another company that's done more to connect us around the world, irrespective.
I want to pick up chicks.
Well, actually, I thought that was called, what was the one that you swipe left and swipe right?
Tinder.
Oh, that one, yeah.
No, but Facebook started in the dorm rooms of Harvard.
Well, that's true.
Checking out girls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I missed out that story.
No,
Okay.
That's the core.
There you go. So make sure your Facebook profile's really cute then.
If you're single.
And if you're a boy, make sure that you've got your wife next to you in it, just in case. Okay, so just saying that this whole thing is something that's like live and well now. So the thing that I fear the most, is being ridiculed for being stupid.
Wow.
And humiliated and shamed. It's, I can feel like right now even mentioning that, so it's charming and I want to run away. And I'm hoping that I might have a minor amount of editorial control, just in case you might see this and want to shoot me in case I say something that might be wrong and inappropriate.
Such as?
Maybe
try not to.
Maybe I haven't got there yet. But
okay. So the whole idea of sort of identifying the biggest fear, and as Anna knows, I'm not a particularly fearful person, right? I often hear other people's fears and they just don't make any sense to me. So let's have a look at your university education. What is it?
say. Now I'm fearful because if I say that I have a degree in economics, law, finance and investment, organizational change, consulting and coaching for change, and stuff. Finance.
Yeah. And how many years do you work for which company? Pricewaterhouse?
I ended up running the financial services practice for PricewaterhouseCoopers in Thailand during the Asian financial crisis. Ended up head of change for one of the major divisions of a huge bank in Asia. So did all the structured left brain kind of stuff.
So I just want to give you a little bit of insight. She's not stupid, okay? Right? Yeah. So, no, first fear.
Okay.
It's just like, I don't even understand why that even enters your head. So is it an imposter syndrome type thing, or? I mean, like if you look at it from logically, because Anna is very logical. You can't study stuff like that. I mean, I did music and ancient history, right? A different type of intelligence, right? But you know, like you're obviously a very logical person, but that is a very illogical thing to be worried about, or to be fearful of. Because you are not, I mean, you're one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life, right? It's true. It's true, right? So can we just get rid of it, do you think?
You know what, like, you know, I told her I might need a proper tube because, you know, as an artist, you know, like I could take this piece of paper like this,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. But yeah, so metaphorically speaking, right? But yeah, so, and then the next one was shame, and what was the other one?
Yeah, humiliation and shame.
Yeah, okay. I really get that. And it's, but I wouldn't put it as a fear. But I don't like to see anyone humiliated or shamed. Mm-hmm. And if anyone tries to do it to me, mm-hmm. you will never see me get angry. You'll never see me roll up. But if you...
do better than me. I mean, like, I kind of like go into this horribly hot, angry defense thing, and I get so vicious I stop myself.
Oh, mate, you haven't seen me. So I've always...
We're not competing, by the way. It might not be very nice.
I think most people think I'm pretty level-headed and calm. Would you? I mean, have you ever seen me lose my rag?
No, but I seem to get the intensity that kind of says the rag is about to, like...
It's on the way?
Yeah.
So, but you've never seen it?
No, I don't want it, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Actually,
I don't think you
unless
would.
I've got, like, you know, like heavy, that really thick, like, bulletproof glass just for entertainment.
And
I don't feel I need to impress my friends like that.
I think over the years I've sort of noticed that I've got a... There's an awareness around me within the senior people that I've always worked with, that there is a button that you can push and you shouldn't push it. Mm-hmm. And so most people stand back and never ever push the button. But every now and again, even the people that know that there's a button to push, sometimes they actually do push it. And it's really interesting. But the one thing is, if you want to have a go at me about anything, you take me into a private room and we have a civil conversation. You tell me what I've done to shit you, and I'll give you my perspective and we'll have a conversation, right? But you stand in the middle of a room when there's people all around me and you scream at me and yell at me, I'm going to scream and yell at you back. And I'm going to put you so far into your place, you won't know where you've come from. And that's happened a couple of times. But it's like, no one has the right to speak to anybody. Nobody has the right to speak to anybody like they're a piece of shit. Nobody has the right to shame anybody or embarrass anybody or put anybody down. If you have an issue, go into a private room and talk to people about it. So the only time you'll actually ever see my buttons pushed is if someone tries to attack me publicly and try and shame me, and they will be more shamed based on my reaction. But then you go after my children, you go after my friends, or you mock somebody who is obviously less than you in some frame in your mind, so poorer on the street, you do something to hurt them or an animal, then you'll also see it come out. But, so yeah, and then there's a warrior comes to the surface anytime I get into that situation. So I get the feeling, I understand the feeling, but I suppose I've worked out my own way of, I deal with it. I confront it head on, and I don't allow people to do it to me because fuck them. Anyone who thinks they can do that, to me they are less than anyone. So
I from my head goes, I want to agree with this, and then I am aware that there's the emotional story of someone who was little and small, who didn't have the physical might
Yep.
to hold her own space, to be able to say that, or was in social environments where you weren't allowed to say these things, and didn't find a voice to be able to go and just go like, what you're describing is a place of being able to just like go like, no, this is where the conversation goes. We can fight it out, we can discuss it, whatever intensity we want, we do it here one-on-one, and if you want to do this to me in public, then you just beware. And what I found was that I have a pretty good temper when I actually let it out, and it was pretty much scorched earth.
Yeah.
And the message I got was just never let that one out. So I tend to pull back and hold quiet, because if I haven't worked out that balance of how much I can show up without feeling like I'm punching the other person in the face when they start escalating.
Yeah, but I don't think...
I respond when somebody starts pushing up. I respond by pulling back.
Yeah, right, okay. So I think the message is, right, so the scorched earth, losing control.
Yeah.
It should never be about
Yeah.
losing control, right?
It's
so
not, no, there's no control
Okay.
lost. It's just that if you've got to that point, and if I'm just reflecting on it now in the conversation, is not having physical strength, it's been the intellectual strength, it's been that ability to go, where is that, and just, like, dive on in, and having seen the consequences of that, not being particularly happy with that as being the leftover afterwards, of finding a way where, in a space where I can have that, we don't have to agree, but we can find a way to talk it through and still agree to disagree, but we don't actually have to shoot each other in the process.
Yeah. But I think one thing you've got to let go of is the little girl, right? That didn't feel strong enough to, or kept being told how to behave. I think I really appreciate my dad. In like, we had a couple of situations growing up with like uncles or whatever, sort of jumping in and having an opinion that I didn't agree with, and I was a pretty angry young feminist for a very, very long time. I see myself as a much more
You're a calmer feminist.
absolutely. I'm a big believer in he for she and she for he. But so the journey in my teenage years was about getting comfortable and standing up for myself and having my own voice. And I think a lot of women, for whatever reason, don't learn that. And I think it's a really important thing to learn. But whatever you got as a young teenage girl or a younger girl, I think you need to let her go and step into your power today, and never let anyone make you feel that way, because they don't have a right to make you feel that way.
And I suppose the truth is, at the end of the day, it's something that's in me.
Yeah.
As in, like, to what you're saying is that if I'm willing to let that one go, back to the whole cheers thing, then it doesn't need to be part of the story I keep taking part in my life. So
Yeah.
this could be kind of fun.
Yeah, no, letting the little girl go, but stepping into your power.
Yeah.
And believing in yourself, and I think the idea that, I think I was really lucky. So my mum worked, my dad stayed at home, and he was an artist, right? And so we were raised in the 70s and 80s with opposite parenting, which is really unique back then, right? So Dad was always the one that came to the school, Mum was always the one that was off at work, and it was fantastic. As a teenager I did bodybuilding and cycling, and I played in brass bands. I mean, I was a nerd, but I wasn't a nerd. But
I had one of the first computers ever because my dad thought I could program.
yeah.
But I did end up in IT for a while, and I can do tech.
I've been in the tech industry for 20 years. I can't code. But I encourage girls to code. Go girls!
And I can code. And boys, you can code as well.
Yeah, we need girls to design the world as well as boys. Because if girls aren't coding, the boys are designing the world.
Yeah, and so you're talking about like the role of your parents and the things. So we moved, by the time I was 12, I've lived in like 7 different countries and 5 continents, so. And if you're a kid or a family who's doing that, all I can say is the most spectacular thing is that if your relationship as parents is strong, as a kid that was perfect.
Right.
The kids who had bad childhoods were the kids who had bad childhoods because the parents were not in a great space
Yeah.
and other sorts of shit. If the parents were strong, as a kid it was cool. The only thing was that I didn't have friends that went as I moved through that. But then these days, I mean, in truth, how many friends do you have from 20 years ago?
I got loads.
I had a good number.
Yeah, well,
I was just back in the UK where I was at school a bunch. I stayed with one friend I was at university with, put up with another one, stayed with another one from university days. So, you know, friendships last anyway.
True ones do, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and that's, I think, possibly the thing about if you're like many people these days where we move because of whatever reasons, work requires it, our family requires it, we move. It's the strength of the friendships and the relationships we create, the things that are like last and provide
The
a
gold
depth.
dust of life.
Ooh.
Look what we do without our friends.
Well, drink a lot less red wine.
Yeah, that's very true. All right, so this is a little bit longer than anticipated, but I hope it's been useful. This is Without the Bollocks, and we're uncovering fears. And do you think you can step away from it a little bit?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Well, I'm here if you need me.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Step away. It's a lot more fun.